It is 1982, and America faces a world of tension and unrest. The single greatest threat remains the Soviet Union.
Here you had these old men, this decaying infrastructure, but still with the great weapons of war.
It was a dangerous time. A lot of suspicion, a lot of hostility.
On the simplest issues, no one wanted to yield an inch, a millimeter.
Ronald Reagan seeks a leader to steer America's foreign policy. He finds a man of unique experience for these troubled times. His name is George Shultz. At a moment of rising global tensions, President Ronald Reagan has accepted the resignation of his Secretary of State, Alexander Haig. The man being summoned to take over the State Department is someone who has already had an amazing career. He has been a free market economist, a presidential confidant, and a dean at a prestigious university. He has been president of a worldwide corporation, has been on a first-name basis with heads of state, has managed the nation's treasury, and has already held 3 cabinet posts.
The local subcontractor.
His is a very American story, grounded in old-fashioned commitments to integrity and service. It is a story of passionate dedication to doing good and faith in the power of honesty and hard work. In spite of his resume, most Americans know little about George Shultz. But they soon will. As he flies at supersonic speed back to meet with Ronald Reagan, George Shultz knows what the job he's being offered will mean to privacy and time with family. But it is a call to service he cannot refuse.
If a president asks you to do something and you feel you are reasonably competent to do it, then I feel as though you have a duty to serve.
Most agree that Ronald Reagan has made a sound choice.
I have written in my memoirs about George Shultz that if I could pick any man for any job in this country, I'd always start with George Shultz.
He has enormous character. You don't find many people with his type of character.
George was a role model for me when I assumed the job as Secretary of State, but more than that, he was a role model for the department.
Shultz was a famous academic, but he was a man who didn't need fame. He preferred accomplishment to fame.
He gave the impression of being beyond ambition, and that's unique in this city.
But George Shultz contributed sanity, balance, a sense of direction, an understanding of how the political process in this country worked.
He understood the great strengths of this country. He understood the great ideals of this country. He communicated them, he embodied them. That's what made him a great Secretary of State.
Shultz was, I think, really very good in understanding his own time. He was not locked in to the Cold War of the 1950s and 60s, as many people were in the 1980s, particularly some people in the Reagan administration.